Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoes Reborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. For today's episode, I'm joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Weekly.
Yes, it blooming well is. How are we doing today, everybody? We've got 4 people watching already, so brilliant. How are you, Pat, mate? How's things?
Doing okay. You know, it's been a rough week, but I'm doing all right.
Mate, all the weeks now just seem to be like an absolute grind, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. I guess I should look at it that way. It's you know, we have some more stuff to look forward to moving ahead.
We're just literally grinding our way to the weekend each time. Who we've got people already commenting. Hello, RKW1138, and hello, Cast Cat. Oh, when do you start exactly? 10 a.m. or 9:32 a.m.? Well, Cast Cat, it is 10 a.m. now. So there you go. That's your answer. Always 10 a.m.
I've got 9:59 a.m. So we may have been like 2 minutes early this week.
We've gone early. Good morning, Ritz. Hello, Matt. Hello, Couch Boy. Hello, Ryan Sweeney. All great to have you guys on. Keep the comments coming in. We'll try and get to everything. Matt O'Brien, can I just show you this one? You awesome double effers. Brilliant. This is a family show. Hello, Eric. Right, let's get stuck in then, I guess. So, Pat, it's been a lean week, I would say, again, in terms of news. But it's probably going to get very busy next week. And we're going to do a bit of speculatory chat on this one.
Yeah, that is true. We've got what do we have, a Fan First Tuesday or
it doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? First Tuesday. Anyway, I suppose we better get stuck in then. And so I take it away, disembodied head Chris.
Earlier in the week, Hasbro announced that they would be doing yet another G.I. Joe livestream event, Fan First Tuesday, which takes place on the 26th of April at 11 a.m. EST. The post explained that Emily, Lenny and Tony will be bringing us updates on previously revealed and pre-ordered product, more reveals and yes, more pre-orders. I went live in the week to discuss possible things we might see on the stream, including an array of figures that were revealed on the last live event, as well as leaked listings that have popped up over the past few months or so. Whatever happens, we will be reacting to the event on Tuesday, so stay tuned for that, but for now, let's talk about what we might see next week.
Let's. Right, it's so weird, isn't it, having like the pre-recorded me going into the live me. Very weird indeed. Anyway, Pat, I'll stop having a conversation with myself and I'll start having a conversation with yourself. Fan First Tuesday. Let's start with the title. It used to be, it was Fan First Friday. We've had them on weekends where there's been big conventions. We've had the Think of Thursday one as well. Now we've got a Tuesday. It's like they pick a lane, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I think that they need to come up with something that kind of has that same jingle as Fan First Friday, only for Tuesday, for each day of the week, I guess.
Totally Tuesday. Yeah, Totally Tuesday is what they should call it. That makes no sense. Okay, well, we've got an announcement. It's happening next week. We'll obviously be doing a reaction to that particular event. And there's a couple of things I can't say because there's going to be a few little surprises later in the week as well, which I'll save for now because I can't really say anything about it yet anyway. But you probably read between the lines. Now, on Tuesday, they're going to be doing this Fan First Tuesday. Now, they've already mentioned that they're going to be pre-orders, there are going to be reveals, and there's going to be updates. I'm guessing updates refers to all of the stuff like HasLab, like all of the other product they've revealed in previous streams, and so on and so forth, which is there's a lot of stuff there. In terms of like reveals, that's really exciting because obviously the new stuff is going to be coming out here, which is great. And then the other thing I wanted to mention to you, obviously, was the pre-order situation. Now, with all those figures they've revealed previously, I mean, what do you think they're going to be doing pre-orders wise?
Well, it's Dr. Mindbender seems to be a shoo-in since we saw his package, but
Sorry, carry on.
right, we saw it seems to be photographs of the packaging. I'll put it that way. So I would think that Dr. Mindbender seems like the big one. It feels like if they're going to have an event, maybe there would be like one centerpiece of what we would be pre-ordering, and Dr. Mindbender I would assume is it. And as far as updates go, that could even just be things that they showed previously as renders. Now they're going to show us as samples.
Yep, very true. And obviously, we've got a lot of those, haven't we? Let's start off
Yeah.
with obviously Kamakura, who was revealed at the same time digitally as Dr. Mindbender. So, I mean, there's a possibility Kamakura might be in there. I don't know. I feel like, because this is a deluxe as well, I feel like they're going to probably space it out with the deluxes. I think that Dr. Mindbender's probably a dead cert for Tuesday. Don't know actually officially yet, but I've got a feeling Dr. Mindbender's probably going to be like the main one, based on the fact we've got all that, the product imagery and the packaging images and all that kind of stuff. So I imagine that one will be one pre-order, and it might not be. You never know. But so I could see this Kamakura maybe be a bit later in the year in terms of full figure reveal with pre-orders and stuff like that. What would you say to that?
We know for sure that he is a deluxe.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would assume so. Maybe from what we see there though, that's not enough to have as a deluxe. So we could still see more accessories or what else he may be coming with.
Could you imagine if he was a deluxe? The whole box is massive and really elaborate, and it's just him and a different head in there. 0 weapons, just one head. That would be a massive troll.
Yeah.
On top of Kamakura as well, we've got so many figures. I mean, obviously they revealed Zorana. I didn't know it was you. Crimson Guard and Dusty. They've got, these are 3, we call them standard classified releases that could see pre-order maybe. I mean, this could be a similar thing with the updates, couldn't it? Of like, we saw the digitals last time. Now we're seeing the actual figures.
Yeah, for sure. And that would be nice to see them actually in physical form, because there always is a bit of a difference between seeing the render and seeing the actual item.
A couple of comments coming through, actually. Couchboy, I'm just going to chat there for a second. Is this a windowless discussion? Boo. When you say that, are we talking about the packaging? Because that is a very good point here. Obviously, very recently, Marvel Legends have, done their recent kind of like live event. And some of those, they basically revealed the new non-plastic packaging. So there's a big shout that we could be seeing non-plastic packaging for classified this very Tuesday.
Yeah, that is true. That's a good point. I don't really see that as being too big of a deal whenever I'm buying it online.
Very good point. Yeah.
And honestly, in some ways, depending what the package looks like, it could even be seen as a bonus online, because Mindbender, look at that art. And if they're going to be spending a little bit more money, and that is going to be something that on the package I'm going to be able to see a little bit better, I don't know. I kind of like that. Yeah, I guess there's something to be said for being able to just see the figure there in the package if you want to keep it in the package. So that's kind of a downer. But the really thing that hit me this week, as far as the windowless packaging, and it wasn't a positive, was that I was at Walmart and I saw some of the new Power Rangers, and they were in a 6-inch sized box. And the first thing that occurred to me was, oh, is this a 6-inch figure? Pretty sure it is. But honestly, from the box, I really wasn't 100% sure. And
Yeah.
if I was going into Walmart as a person who hasn't been watching Hasbro live streams and looks online all the time at toys, I really wouldn't know what was in that box other than, yeah, there's a Zord of some kind in here.
Yeah.
So I think that it's kind of a dangerous thing to do for in the store, because if I was just a person buying a gift for a kid, I probably would avoid that one for the uncertainty of what was inside.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I would imagine they would, with classified, they'd probably keep it the same size as what we've had before, just in order to like maybe like uniform it a little bit. But then, having said that, they changed the Black Series packaging dramatically halfway through, and that was a different shape and it was a slightly different size.
It
It
took a
had
long
little kind
time,
of,
though.
you what, mate?
That took a long time before they made that change.
Yeah, yeah. So, who knows? Well, I suppose we'll find out on Tuesday. If not Tuesday, then definitely by the next event, which I imagine would be Yojo June at this point. But yeah, and also I will have to say, I did tell everybody that there was going to be another event before Yojo June. We had so many people say, "Oh, I suppose we're waiting for June now," and I'm like, "No, we'll have another one before. We'll have another one in that space." Like it's always the exact same pattern. You see a Transformers one, you see a Star Wars one, you see a Marvel one, you see a Joe one, and it's all within the same space of time. So it was always going to happen that we were going to see more reveals, and obviously they've got lots to kind of to show off, which is amazing. Okay, well, anyway, I want to look at this comment quickly from Michael Jean Fleming. Thank you for the comment, Michael. I was working on watching the monthly episode, waiting for this to come on. Think that a 1995 HasLab built around a seawolf whale with unproduced figures as stretch tiers would be great. That sounds absolutely fantastic. I'm sure you'd be into that, Pat, as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I love some of that stuff that went to unproduced to actually be revisited, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for the comment, Michael. Lewis says, working and listening, even though I shouldn't, but it's worth it. Well, please try and keep your job then in that case, if that's why. And thanks for the comment. Right. We've got loads of comments coming in, guys. Thank you so much for all of those. Like I said, we will try and get to everything. I'll try and get to as much as I can. Obviously, we have to keep it moving a little bit. What else have we got? Oh, Neil Hill says, I don't care what day the event is. I just want actual Joe product on shelves to purchase. That's a very good point. We'll be talking a little bit about that later on. But yeah, Pat, what were you going to say, bud?
I like what Robert H. says, his point that he made in the Hasbro said that in Transformers Q&A that the lines that they sell to adults will have closed boxes and lines sold to kids will have open boxes for all brands. I mean, that's going to be a little bit better because usually the adults will be the ones that will have seen things. It's just, it still puts it in a weird spot, I think, whenever I'm, an adult looking at the Power Ranger and it for sure was a collector item, or targeted toward collectors, but cutting out that extra potential sales just a little weird at retail. I don't know.
Yeah,
it struck me as strange actually seeing one for the first time that I wasn't intimately familiar with.
Sorry, I've got talking of Kamakura. Robert H also wants Kamakura, but Castcat says, why is Kamakura a deluxe? When was that mentioned? We know that officially because that's how it's listed in particular leaked information, Castcat. So we know that it's a deluxe based on that. And also because he's got an alternate head, which doesn't usually happen with, you can put 2 and 2 together, but effectively he's going to come with a lot of cool stuff. So that is, Kamakura is a deluxe, yes. Matt O'Brien says, Chris, fill in the blank. Serana, I didn't know it was you. Yeah, I've already done it. So I've done it twice now. Ritz says, I hope the plastic-free packaging is not too disappointing. I'm kind of, on one hand, I'm really excited. But then on the other hand, I saw the Marvel Legends kind of stuff, and I wasn't that blown away by it because I figured you've got all that canvas now to just go art ballistic. And I think it's just the action figure on the front, isn't it, Pat?
Yeah, that one was pretty disappointing, kind of silly. But if that could even just be a matter of it. There being a delay in between having the art ready, maybe.
Possibly.
Although with that, I would think that they could just use comic book art. There should be plenty of Spider-Man comic book art that they could put on there.
You think?
I think.
Maybe. It's like 1 million issues at this point. I would say that, with classified, if they did it so that it's like the Viper 3 pack with the gorgeous art on the front, like like taking up all that space, and then you flip it around and you've got maybe an action figure on the back, kind of like Marvel Legends used to do, where the action figure was actually on the back in like some sexy kind of lighting and smoke all
Yeah.
around it. I would also suggest that, you know, they're doing all this beautiful photography Dio shots and stuff. You know, use that on the back. Use one of those shots, you know, for those kind of figures and characters. That would make so much sense. The other thing it would take away, though, Pat, I'm not sure how you feel about this, is that beautiful back art where you've got like loads of all the different characters and everything, which we've got a little example of it in the background here as well on screen.
Well, we're not going to always be able. They can't just keep on adding that. You know, once we get to 100 figures, and it's this big collage of
just faces.
They would either have to, you know, start a new one entirely or just get rid of that. I mean, it will be a shame to see that go. But yeah, if they're going to have the closed box, I can't imagine there being space for this, because the back of the box ideally will show the figure and show all the features. And that's going to be a hard thing to do in multiple languages, I would think.
Yeah.
There's a call out that says, you know, what it has is probably going to have to be written in several languages. There's just not going to be a lot of space on the back of the box. And the front of the box, I'm hoping if they are putting art on there, that it's not going to be, you know, covered in text and other things.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Chaz says, I will be bummed if/when the packages go windowless. I have a wall with my in-package figures. I always buy two, one in box and one loose. This will cut my purchases in half. Look at that as a positive then, Chaz. You're going to save lots of money. What I will say as well is I've got, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, if they did something like a little bit more kind of intricate, where like it was like a window, like a little door that opened up, and there was a slight window. You know, no plastic, obviously, like an open space, just so you could kind of see the figure, you know, a little bit. That would be kind of cool. But again, I don't know. I think it's probably just going to be very much like a box with all of the similar design points still in place, but with more art on the front. But we'll see, I guess. We'll probably, again, like we might see that this Tuesday. It might be for the next wave of figures. Who knows? Who knows? But I guess we will find out very soon. Couchboy, this is funny as hell. Kamakura Deluxe should randomly be with a motorcycle or a random pet for no reason. that would actually be really funny. What's the, you know, was it in the Devil's Due run where Timber had passed away, but Timber had pups?
Yeah.
And what that, like, you know, Kamakura could come with one of the pups, couldn't he?
Timber number 2, sure. It means Devil's Due and Devil's Due, yeah. He could also come with a motorcycle. That's not absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he was featured heavily with a motorcycle in Valor vs. Venom.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. In fact, he uses a motorcycle in that manga as well, doesn't he? Is it Kamakura in the manga? I think it is. When I want to say him and Jinx, it might be Storm Shadow, though. I might be getting mixed up. I'm sure Kamakura is in that manga. Was it Arashikage Showdown, I believe it's called?
I don't remember.
It's a long time ago. Only read it once. Matthew Payne's toy samples. Any chance we get a Higher Toys update this pulse, or will it be June? No clue, honestly. The Higher Toys have gone absolutely radio silent over their G.I. Joe line. But I'm really excited to see what they do, and I hope some information comes out pretty soon about that.
I hope we get some sort of update from some of the other licensees, though. You know, maybe Jada, or, well, I guess it's not really a licensee because it's part of Hasbro, right? Renegade Games isn't Hasbro, so yeah, maybe they could give an update.
Yeah, that would be really cool, actually. That would be a nice little kind of addition in there. But again, it feels like this Tuesday one feels like it's going to be like a short job.
It
feels
does,
like it's short job being a new code name I've created for G.I. Joe. What a horrible code name. This Chaz says collectors will be in the toy aisle with jeweler eyepieces checking the tape. Those windowless figure boxes. Yeah, it's going to be like some absolute scenes in toy aisles going forward. That's if we ever get any toys in the toy aisles. Again, we'll get to that very soon. And the Punk with Toys, no. Sorry, just to kind of clarify here. Could Kamakura be the figure with animal that's been leaked? I don't know much about him, and if he ever had an animal in the comic. One, you're talking about Ariel, the leaked listing, which isn't Kamakura. So don't worry, those two are two separate things completely. In fact, actually, Pat, there's a good point that's been brought up. Ariel, the code word with animal companion, that could possibly be a reveal on Tuesday, could it not?
Sure, that could be. I didn't really give that any thought. Is the code name for the animal flounder?
No, that would be really cute though, wouldn't it? And also, I was at this moment I saw that leak, I was desperately hoping. I know you were too, for Deep Six and Finn back as the.
I would enjoy that.
That would be so brilliant, wouldn't it? But I will say this as well: the code names, maybe with a slight exception of right at the beginning, bear no resemblance to what the character is. Miranda, of course, everyone was thinking it was a female character, was Kamakura. So there you go. You know, they bear no, they're random, basically, these internal code words. So, and like I said, with maybe the exception of that first few series where you had, it was like Duke as Dung Beetle, Tarantula as Snake Eyes, even though that's a T. Storm Shadow was Scorpion, I think. So you had like very like you had clues dotted around in there, didn't you? Really, but that isn't the case anymore for sure. Excuse me. Right, okay, let's move on then. There's more characters to look at. We've also got the Target exclusives, Bazooka, Recondo, and the Python Officer. I mean, this is a possibility because, you know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, and it's happened many times. We've got precedent for it, where Target do they do the reveals on the show, and Target do their pre-orders as well on the same day. Or, you know, it's been a little bit more disjointed in the last, you know, year or two. But early on, like I said, like when we were having the Cobra Island stuff, they would reveal it on the show, and then Target would have the pre-orders up. Could you see these going up for pre-order?
Yeah, do you think maybe that's why it's a Fan First Tuesday instead of a Fan First Friday? Like maybe Target prefers a Tuesday release instead of a Friday release for these things?
That's a good shout. I like the thinking on that. Target Tuesday, they should have called it, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Totally Target Tuesday would have been perfect, but no, we had to go with Fan First Tuesday. It should be Fans Fourth Tuesday anyway, because we've already had Star Wars, Transformers, and Marvel Legends come before us. Yeah, I would actually love to see these kind of go up, even though I'm desperately still waiting for Outback, Viper, and Bat, obviously in the same range. But yeah, again, we'll get to that a little bit later on. Again, good options to kind of, good options for possibilities. Now, the other possibility, which oddly enough wasn't really mentioned that much. I didn't mention it until someone mentioned it in the comments on the live, and that's these two buggers, Cobra Commander and Duke. Now, what is interesting about this as well is that, you know, obviously it's valid because it's, you know, a pre-order could go up for these. Duke and Cobra Commander are actually on the image that's been thrown around as well. So I'm wondering if that's like a subliminal kind of hint.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm really looking forward to getting more O-ring figures. Honestly, the two that I got it was nice to get them, but they need to come a little bit faster. I don't want to be inundated with O-ring figures all the time, but
yes, you do.
Well, yeah, maybe I do, but they need to be faster. There needs to be more. I need more now. Give it to me now.
This is a good question actually from RKW1138. With Hasbro revealing plastic-free-ish packaging, what does this mean for the future of retro O-ring line? Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to continue doing the bubbles. It's hard to. It's a hard one to kind of gauge, isn't it, Pat? Because obviously they are going. It does look like they're going full non-plastic.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if they're still doing some plastic for their kid lines, I would think that since part of the appeal of this is the classic style packaging, I think that's just going to continue. I really don't think that they would change that.
I wonder if they're going to stop. I wonder if they're going to keep that going with the Walmart exclusive classified retro as well.
No, I think that those things are
safe. They're banked over here.
Yeah, that's the entire appeal of that sale, is that classic style packaged.
Basically, yeah, you're right.
I guess what they could do is put an outer box on it and call the inner part that is partially plastic the actual product now. So yeah, that's not going to
That's a good point. Yeah, that might, to get around it. Yeah, that could possibly be. No, it's a good point though, because that is the main. It's the main focus of that entire line. Both of them.
I just think those are safe. I don't think that those are going to go plastic free.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay. So, Couchboy says Kamakura had a motorcycle in Venom, Valor versus Venom. Right. Yes, I think he did at some point. I've seen Kamakura on a motorcycle many times. Okay. Couchboy reckons Kamakura with Junkyard and Order, 2 dogs. that would be the weirdest figure and animal companion combination ever. Okay, cool. Right, like I said, I'll try and get to as many as I can. I'm not going to see every comment because there are so many, but I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Keep them coming as well. I'm not saying don't comment. I'm saying I might not get to all of them. Anyway, that is, I suppose the Tuesday thing. We've got the pre-orders. I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say Dr. Mindbender, this 2-pack, this O-ring 2-pack, and then maybe one other. And I'm going to go, and then I suppose you could also throw in there, because it's Target related as well, Target themed. You've got the Duke and vehicle that hasn't been revealed yet. Maybe that's going to be revealed. Tiger Force Duke and vehicle, because obviously we know Crater with vehicle themed. That's the information we know, and that information in the past means themed means Target exclusive. Crater means Duke. And it just makes sense that it's going to be Target exclusive Duke with vehicle. It doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to work that one out. But would you think that maybe there's a possibility we could see that Tiger Force Duke classified figure revealed?
I mean, maybe if this is a very Target centric, Tuesday, perhaps. I don't know. I don't think there's any other Walmart stuff that we've gotten any hint of. So yeah, maybe this is just going to be, I don't know. It would make sense to me if it was the Target stuff plus Mindbender plus the O-ring 2-pack.
Yeah.
But I'm greedy about O-rings, so maybe show us some more O-ring stuff.
That's a good point.
Order for these and show us some other O-ring stuff.
That's a good point. And also, do you think there'll be any kind of HasLab updates you want? I mean, are there any things you want to know about the particular HasLab thing at the moment? Is there anything that kind of like you're questioning?
If they're saying updates, they could just show us some sort of update on the HasLab, because the Unicron HasLab, as I recall, they showed us a lot of the steps of the process. Like the behind the scenes on the updates for that, I really actually enjoyed it. They showed us some of the manufacturing of the figure, like the spray ops going on. They showed us testing of the packaging, like the transit testing.
Oh, that made me feel sick though, when they dropped it on the floor from like 4 or 5 feet off the ground. I was just like, oh,
I don't know. I felt treated to seeing something that I've wanted to see for a long time, which is weird that that's something that I enjoyed, but
They also showed Rachel, the marketing head at the time, getting into the box that it was going to be shipped in, and she's like 6 foot something, and she got into the box and they closed it and everything.
I don't know if I remember seeing that.
I think it's still on. I think it's still on the Hasbro Pulse website. But yeah, it was really funny. And Rachel's really tall as well. I've actually seen her in person at the Hasbro preview event many moons ago. But I thought that was hilarious. I want to try and get in that box. So I've got that box down in the storage. I want to see if I can get in there as well. Send me off. I'd probably be lighter than Unicron as well. That thing was gargantuan.
I don't think that I'd be able to flex that much. It'd be terrible.
You'd be able to stand up in it. You'd be reaching up to the top like that, Pat. Let me out. Oh, okay. Yeah, Matt O'Brien. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second, bud. I see your comments, but we will get to that. Don't worry. And I suppose, yeah, like having said all of that we said now, are there any reveals you could see them doing, Pat, as well as like we talked about pre-orders, we talked about that. Are there any kind of things that you could see them pulling out of the bag, maybe?
Well, it's just mentioned in the comments about the deck crew. I still would like to see those. And you know, they could change it up and just change the color of those so that we don't officially get the ones that didn't get made, but do something with that. Like I'm really hoping for some more O-ring stuff. And I don't think that there will be any 4-inch stuff anytime soon. So that's not a reveal that I expect. But yeah. O-ring stuff is what I'm hoping on the most. And
cool.
It probably won't happen then because that's
what you want.
We can have it.
You can't have nice things. Okay, then. Well, that is the first segment of news, and that is Hasbro Fan First Tuesday. Like I said, we will be reacting to it on Tuesday, either immediately after the event, or depending on availability, we might have to do that in the evening. But either way, we're going to be responding to and reacting to those reveals on Tuesday itself. And like I said, there might be a couple of fun little extras later in the week, which I can't go into too much detail about. Anyway, can't wait for that. Looking forward to it. Like I said, was it Lenny, Emily, and Tony are going to be doing that one. So really excited to see. Now, next up, we have a bit of disappointing news, to tell you the truth. But Pat and I are going to try and get into it anyway.
Yes, more bad news coming out of the Big H this week, unfortunately. An article from usnews.com brought to light a recent statement from Hasbro regarding even more price raises to come to cope with soaring costs, and warned of a potential revenue hit of about $100 million this year due to its decision to pause toy shipments to Russia. McDonald's Corp, Bumble Incorporated, and Coca-Cola Company have ceased some or all of their business in Russia after its invasion of Ukraine, with the fast food chain estimating an impact of about $50 million a month. Throw in a spike in COVID-19 cases in some countries, which is causing factory shutdowns and port delays, added to corporate woes as soaring freight and transportation costs are pinching profit margins. Hasbro said it would raise prices mid-year and that it was taking steps to mitigate some of the expected supply issues. Chief Financial Officer Deborah Thomas mentioned on an analyst call that to improve product in stocks this holiday season versus last, we're advancing deliveries of key items so that we can ensure they're on hand. So hopefully we will be getting products in hand sooner, but we'll be paying more for them. This is a tough break considering we only just had a price raise earlier this year, and it does seem to be affecting customer morale, with a lot of people just being costed out of collecting altogether. It also doesn't help that a number of figures that should have been in hand by now are struggling to make it to shelves or mailboxes at all. A post from Scott Gottlieb on Twitter showed this incredible graphic of the shipping situation around China, which highlights the absolute carnage that is going on right now, and it doesn't look like easing anytime soon.
My goodness, that shipping image, when I saw it posted on Twitter the other day, or in the week in actual fact, I was blown away. I was like, wow, I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize it was, someone had spilt a load of M&Ms all over the blooming place.
It looks more like Fruity Pebbles to me.
Someone's dropped their bowl of Fruity Pebbles all over the floor. Their rug of it's a map of like the world, and they've just dropped their Fruity Pebbles on it. That's what's happened.
For the sake of comparison, I really would like to see what the same week in 2019 looked like. Because I would imagine it's expected to be very busy. It's shipping lanes out of China. It's going to be huge, but that looks like a real mess, like bad.
It looks like they're on top of each other. It looks like they've just stacked the ships on top of each other.
But I don't know how it's supposed to look. So I'm a very uninformed person on this, and I really don't know what to make of that.
Yeah. Well, before we'll come back to that. We'll come back to it because I put it at the end rather than the beginning. That was my fault. But there's obviously a lot of kind of big points that came out of that particular article. one of the main things is that Hasbro expects like 100 million to be lost with that pause of toy shipments to Russia, which is it's ridiculous money. But obviously, what it's going to relate to are price increases on the figures, and at the same time, I'm not sure this is probably just really bad timing for Hasbro, but you're kind of minimizing the packaging in a sense, and at the same time raising the prices. So there's kind of this, I don't know, this really poor timing aspect here. And obviously there's not much they can do about it. This is the way they want to go. And unfortunately this has happened and caused this issue. And at the same, you're getting that kind of crossover where, like I said, the packaging is being changed to what I think a lot of people are more concerned and disappointed than they are excited for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I was not really that concerned myself until I was in Walmart this week and I looked at those Power Rangers and was like, I don't know what this is. So yeah, I'm more at this point on the side of being concerned about the packaging. I don't know. I also don't want to be opening up something and find somebody had returned something. Yeah, and I mean, I've even had times where it's happened that Hasbro's made a change to something that's already packaged, slipped some sort of notice in there or something else where it's actually coming from Hasbro with 2 layers of tape on it. So looking at the tape, I don't know if we'll be able to tell from that. So I don't know. I'm a little bit leery as time moves on. I'm getting a little more worried about that. I think that some of the big Transformers that I was buying, because this is G.I. Joe, not Transformers, but just trying to put it in frame of reference. Some of the very big things that never were going to display well in the package are fine. I mean, we have G.I. Joe vehicles. That's kind of how we expect them to be. We don't really expect a window box. So we've had, cardboard boxes for things for a long time. It just is a little bit different to not be able to look at that figure before you buy it and pick out the apps that are the best ones in the store.
No, I'm totally on point with that as well. Although what is funny is that I haven't had that experience in the store yet where I've had the option of choice. It's always been the last figure on there anyway, or they've got it out the back for me, or they've it's not even it's not I'm going in there and going, right, which gung ho do I want? It's I've gone into the store and this is because I've obviously ordered most of it online anyway. But then when there has been that one experience where it's been in the store, it's been the only one there, or I've already got these, so I'm not even looking at them for paint ops or whatever. So yeah, and also everyone I've got, I don't think I've had one single issue with any figure yet where I've been this isn't good enough, I need to buy another one. Do you know what I mean? I haven't had that yet with Classified. I just haven't. I know people have, because I've seen pictures of where the where one of the eyes is somehow printed in midair next to the head, and the other eye is on the nose or something. I've seen that, yeah, but I've never personally had any of that when it's been delivered to me. So I don't know,
and depending on how hilarious it is, that could be a bonus.
Exactly, especially if you've got a floaty eye over here somehow.
Especially if you're able to get the figure in addition to having the weird one.
Yeah, totally. And like I said, I know they exist, but I've never experienced that. And I certainly haven't seen it on the shelf either. When I have seen them on the shelves, I have looked at them, but I've never seen anything so so badly done that so I don't know, it might be one of those things that people are kind of over worry, worrying about it when it isn't really a worry, because let's face it, if it's not right and you're not happy with it, then just take it back. And that's
true.
I've not seen people turned away for for that kind of stuff. I've not seen product not taken back a lot of the time. But anyway, it's a bit of an inconvenience if it happens, but again, it hasn't happened to me yet. Anyway, still a lot of people disappointed with the packaging switch, and I understand it. Change is always difficult, but I guarantee in a year or so time, we're probably not even thinking about it anymore. It will just be like the norm, and we'll have gotten used to it. I do hope, though, my concern is what they do with the actual package. I hope they keep it as close to what they've done already, with like the same like icons down the left-hand side, the art overlapping the other side as well, and then maybe I'm not that fussed if they get rid of the big artwork, because like you said, it's getting kind of ridiculous. They have to change it every release schedule, because they're either adding to it or they're making a completely new one, which they've obviously just this very recently revealed the new artwork. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about it. Now, obviously there have been not just Russia, but obviously a huge spike in COVID-19 cases that literally shut China down again. So I just don't see it. I don't see it being alleviated anytime soon. And when you look at the amount of Fruity Pebbles on the page there, it is just it's. Could you imagine being the person in charge of organizing this?
No. Is there a person in charge of organizing this? I guess is the question. It looks like
it doesn't look like it.
There's too much chaos. I mean,
I think there's a person in charge of. There's a person in charge of pouring more Fruity Pebbles onto the floor, I think. Yeah, they just throw the occasional pebble on there. Anyway, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, looking at that image just gives me nightmares. Honestly,
I mean, if they're not going to be shipping anymore to Russia, as Hasbro said, that's $100 million loss. That's a lot of shipping that doesn't need to happen, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Although I don't know exactly what routes things were coming from China to Russia. That could have been by land, right?
Yeah.
I really don't know.
I mean, it's it's hard to gauge, but on this particular image, we're looking at the what do you call it? The actual product itself, I guess, going from like ship to land to truck and so on and so forth. And I'm guessing there's a key in there as well. But it's hard to tell, isn't it? Because all of the different colors merge together to just make pink. So it's it's hard to know what the hell is going on right there. But yeah, Adam Drake, hey bud. I think people are conflating the price change and Russia when they're just being announced at the same time. They're correlated, but not cause and effect. I think there is an element though of price raises happening because of that kind of premonition of theirs to say like we're going to lose a lot of money here, so the prices have to go up. I don't know. It's hard not to see it's hard not to see a direct cause and effect there, I think, Adam.
Well, I mean, whenever you buy more of something, the price generally goes down. It's economies of scale. So if they're cutting out all of Russia, that means that they are not going to be getting the same economies of scale on the stuff that they're manufacturing. And therefore, the price of the individual units is going to go up.
Yeah.
And if Russia is that big of a market for them, which I imagine that it is, then yeah, there's going to be some sort of effect, but I don't know how measurable that effect would be. I really don't know. Without looking at the numbers, I don't think any of us know.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it would be, affecting us as much as potentially other things that they're considering. Now, my question is, this price increase, is that what, like right now, the pre-orders that are going up that seem to be getting more expensive in other brands, is that with the assumption of the price increase, knowing that those things are going to ship a year or more out?
Yeah.
Or is that the current price and the price increase is going to be even more beyond that? I really don't know.
It's hard to say. And Deborah Thomas, like I said in the video at the beginning, the one of the kind of C-level execs did mention that they're going to try and be like getting key items in place for the kind of holiday season. They're basically going to be like prioritizing those getting over here. So does that mean as well also that some things like classified figures might take a bit of a back seat again, because it's not like we're seeing them in hand at the moment. I wonder if we'll have even more delays on them.
G.I. Joe has done so well for them. I think that no. I think that G.I. Joe would be one of the priorities, to be honest. I really do.
I'm just wanted to hear you say that, and I'm glad you did. So yeah, I guess I think we'll be paying more for it, but it's going to be happening, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's part of the cost too. Is she said that they're going to be accelerating getting them here, which is going to mean a different mode of transit, and that's going to probably be a more expensive one.
Here's a good comment as well from A. Matthew Payne's Toy Samples. I won't be army building with increased prices. Do you think the market can bear continual price increases? Cheap packaging, looking at you, legacy Transformers boxes. Now, the bit in the middle here is the kind of important thing, I think, here. Do you think the market can bear continual price increases? The only thing that will tell if that is the possibility is time. So, like you can, because this is the thing, right? Loads of people will comment immediately in anger, in frustration, in sadness, in all those kind of emotional ways that humans do. Loads of people will say, oh, Hasbro this, I'm not doing this, I'm not buying that. And then as soon as the pre-orders go up, buy. So, and I know, I'm not saying you do this, by the way, Matthew, at all. I'm not saying you're doing this. I'm not saying any of the people listening here do that. But it happens because you'll also get the opposite of that, where people will constantly ask and ask and ask for something. And then when they get it, they don't buy it. Like it's like, I want this, I want this, I want this. They don't buy it. And I've seen that directly being close with a lot of different toy companies, a lot of different retailers, a lot of, all that kind of stuff. I've seen that for years where you see that kind of pattern of like, this is what the market wants, let's give it to them, and nobody grabs it. And it's not because it's not good enough or whatever. It's just, it wasn't really what the market wanted. It was just what maybe a vocal minority was saying.
To say,
yeah, exactly. And again, in this situation, I think that Hasbro wouldn't do this if they didn't think the market could cope with it. And I think they're probably going to push this, see where it can go, and then and I think to a degree, there are a lot of hands are tied here due to what's going on in the rest of the world. And
I think anytime you have a rapid price increase, because we all can expect prices to increase on these things for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
But the rate at which they are increasing feels a lot faster than in the past.
Yeah.
And I do think that there are going to be units dropped off.
Twice already this year and once last year. So you did, that's way more rapid than we've had it in the past.
And the pre-orders do make it confusing what exactly the price increases mean. Is that a price, like seriously, is that a price increase now, or is that a planned price increase that we are getting as a pre-order?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it? It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
We saw that the last pre-orders were more expensive by a couple of bucks. What's the most what is the most you would pay for a classified figure, Pat?
I see that $30 mark on the horizon, and I don't like it.
I know how you feel. I think they're going to push it $1 or so until they get to that point. Honestly,
yeah, I don't like that. That's $30 to me is too much for a 6-inch figure. I'd much rather be buying 4-inch figures for a lower dollar amount, but I don't know. It just seems like a lot.
Matt O'Brien saying it's disappointing to see that we went from 20 to 25 with the new single releases in such a short period of time, and now it will go higher. I know it's only been 2 years. It's been 2 years, and we've gone $10 almost.
I always kind of feel like whenever prices go up on things, that's just more space for a sale. Whenever G.I. Joes were $5 or they were $7, there wasn't much space in there to save money if you didn't just pick it up the first time you saw it.
Yeah.
But at $25 or $30 a figure, that may be, instead of pre-ordering it, maybe wait for a sale kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some of them, for me even.
Louise says, does the shipping issue mean even longer wait for the Sky Striker? I'm pretty sure it probably does, which we will, again, hopefully we'll get some more updates on Tuesday about that. But yeah, I would imagine it would, wouldn't you, Pat?
Yeah, I would imagine something large like that. Yeah, I would think so.
It would be a much bigger Fruity Pebble on the screen, but it would still be lost in all the other Fruity Pebbles. RKW 1138 says the classified character stat icons really don't work for me. Just a bunch of confusing symbols. Well, yeah, but then you have to go on the website and you have to look at all of the keys to work it out. It's like a bit of fun. I kind of would like it if they did some. I suppose that's their kind of equivalent of the red, the red plastic strip with Transformers stats, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I don't know though that anyone looking at the boxes immediately realizes that those are stats or that there is a method to them. They're just neat symbols that kind of are on the side of every package. And so I wasn't going to mention it when you said it, but yeah, I'm kind of feeling like that's a lot of real estate on the side of the box that could just go.
I will say as well, it kind of made sense when they made such a big deal out of the website and how there was going to be this kind of like interactivity. You get the figure and then you could see what all that stats and everything. But they really haven't done much with the website other than change the kind of main image like a couple of times. So I don't know. I feel like if they'd have kept up with the kind of content on there, it would have been like, I don't know, such a bit more prominent.
I kind of feel like that website originally came out and was planned to do a heavy push of a smaller, less successful toy line. But now the toys are just selling themselves and the website is going to have trouble keeping up.
Yeah, well, it is, isn't it? Yeah, totally. What else we got going on here? Couchboy says, is G.I. Joe less popular than Star Wars, MCU, Transformers, so they ship it last? So Spider-Man, Mandalorian, and Prime ship priority over G.I. Joe, as the other lines are better known. At the moment, I don't think there's any kind of priority like that going on. I think they are just trying to get what they can out of their factory, and it's whatever's kind of coming through is then getting out, or what they're trying to anyway. I don't think there's any... Like up until recently, I don't think there's any kind of like priority of key items. I think it was just let's get it out and hopefully we'll get what we can. I think in terms of how popular the brand is at the moment, I'd say G.I. Joe is doing a lot better toy-wise than Star Wars, than MCU possibly, and maybe Transformers might be doing a little bit better. I don't know. What do you think, Pat?
I think each individual figure probably, but there still just feels like there's so much Marvel stuff always on the way that I don't know if it's... I don't know. I would think that it almost feels like each individual G.I. Joe figure is a hotter item than any single Marvel figure or Star Wars figure, but there's a lot more of those constantly coming.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it feels to me. And I'm sure Hasbro has a responsibility to their licensors. So it's a good question as to whether or not they prioritize some of the shipping containers. But I would think no, that hopefully everything is just kind of given an equal shot. And whatever's in the pipeline just kind of needs to get out of the factory, because that's the other thing. I mean, if you're manufacturing these things and they can't get on the boat to go out, where are you putting them while you have this rate of... It's just insanity.
It is insanity. Ryan Sweeney says, if classified goes to $30, I will move to Super 7 as you get more stuff for the $55 price point. I suppose Ryan is leaving one because it's getting too expensive to go to a more expensive one. But I get what you're saying, Ryan. It's almost like...
I see what he's saying too.
Yeah. You get more, you're getting more for it, I guess. And obviously the packaging is...
It also feels like on the secondary market 10 years from now, I'm going to have an easier time picking up a classified figure than I will a Super 7 figure.
Very, very true. Fewer numbers, more expensive to start with, and pretty desirable. Well, we have to say they are very desirable figures,
and not being shipped to every retailer, and so there's just random ones about.
Yeah. Viper Scout says maybe Hasbro should build an actual flag to ship their own stuff. They might have to at this rate. Hello, Ben.
Hey.
Skeletron head, the head of Skeletron. How are you doing, buddy? We'll be shouting you out at the end, so you've joined at the right time. Punk with Toys says big issue with price increase is that Hasbro's gone from 20 to 28 in less than a year, yet Masterverse have only gone from 20 to 22 in that same time. Good point. Very good point, Punk with Toys. And also those Masterverse toys that they've revealed recently, the other day, I'm kind of vibing on some of those retro inspired ones where it's like a 7-inch, like, you're not a fan?
What they're making He-Man in so many different scales. I mean, the argument against He-Man being in 4-inch is that they always wanted him to be bigger than G.I. Joe. But there are those tiny, like the 2.5-inch He-Man things in the store. It's been years. Just give me a 4-inch He-Man toy line.
Amazing. Anyway, I'll move on because Pat's just going to get angry.
Plus, like 7 inches. That seems like McFarlane's doing it. Now we're doing it. Eventually, it's going to be 8 inches or 7.5 inches.
They're going to have to do like millimeters. They'll have to add in between to get all the scales.
And then we'll eventually be at 12 inches, and I will enjoy my things that fit with vintage G.I. Joe.
Do you remember the Thundercats kind of new cartoon came out, and they made like so many different scales? That was the weirdest toy line kind of decision ever, to have like multiple scales in both classic kind of style, and it was all over the place, wasn't it? It was such a mess.
And then they didn't finish the core cast of characters, and they kept on resetting the scales, and that was a mess.
That was a mess.
Didn't Matt work that one out?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm not a Thundercats collector. I thought that I heard something about somebody actually finishing things or starting.
Well, Super 7
finishing it.
Super 7 have jumped on the back of Matty Collector's failed third subscription, didn't they? And did Thundercats, but I'm not sure if they did anything with those particular.
Oh, no, not with those ones. Okay, yeah, that's right. Those are the ones that I'm thinking of.
Okay, yeah. Max Blue has said Marvel might have dates they need to meet for movie releases, and Hasbro has to meet deadlines there. Very good point. Very good point. And that's gonna trump, a couple of classified figures, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah, and McFarlane and Spin Master and Mattel have actually done a pretty good job on the Batman and Jurassic Park stuff hitting stores and being readily available. There's a lot of that out there.
Bloody love the Jurassic Park stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Matt O'Brien, what bothers me after a year of paying the rapidly increased prices is reading the article that Hasbro saw record profits that same year. Yeah, I know. It's tough. It's hard. I feel like their PR team have dropped a massive ball here. There was a way of probably dealing with this, and I think they haven't really done it in the right way. But you're right, by putting those things in the same article, by putting those things in the same kind of like space, you tend to get, they probably should have come out a bit sooner about what they were going to do price wise, or they probably should have come out later with what they were going to do price wise. One of those two. I don't know. I don't work there. I don't know what the situation is. But yeah, I feel like they haven't made it easy for themselves in terms of customer relations there, have they?
No. I mean, this is a really good point. Yeah, it is very annoying to see it. It's not like I expect them to come out and say, hey, we're having a loss, just so that collectors don't have to spend more. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be record profits.
Yeah, true. I know, exactly. Why say that?
Just profits would have been nice. But record profits?
Let's have a look. Tyrone Wested says Hasbro had record profits, but from other divisions. Action figures had the slightest increase, while Wizards and Nerf are bringing in crazy margins. Thanks for for a bit more information on that, Tyrone. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is another one actually. Chaz says we need 6-figure waves. These 3-figure waves every 4 months are killing me. I don't think it would be a problem, Chaz, if they came in if we got all those figures that we're waiting on, Crocmaster, Cobra Officer, Spirit, Storm Shadow, Outback, Python Bat, Python Viper. So there's 7, right? If we had those in hand now, which we really should do, I don't think we'd be moaning about it too much. I think because it's basically because of this like shipping irregularity thing that's happened now, where we're not getting the stuff that is ready. Like it's caused this horrible kind of like feeling of like, well, we haven't had anything for ages. Really think about it. We would have had 9 figures come out over a very short period of time if you count Bat and Alley Viper in there with all those other ones. That's a ton of figures already. Do you know what I mean? That we could already. I'm gonna have to rethink my shelving unit. But I'm not sure about you, Pat. Would you prefer 6-figure waves? Because I mean that would be a lot of money pre-order wise, wouldn't it?
It would. I'm honestly, I'm kind of okay with where we're at. I saw this and I was like, 6-figure waves of O-ring figures. I don't know. It's that's where I want to see things go. I kind of like the pace that the 6-inch stuff is coming out at, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I feel like we wouldn't be too concerned, I don't think, if those figures had come in now, because that fills that space. That really does fill a huge gap, doesn't it? And it does have a big effect on you, like mentally. It does for me anyway. Like I'm kind of thinking, man, like I just know that if I had all those figures at hand right now, I wouldn't be that concerned right now, because obviously that's the problem we're in at the moment. Couchboy, this is a good point. Why is plastic free an issue with plastic figures? I mean, half us weirdo adults keep the boxes. I'm guilty of having a bedroom full of bins or figs. Yeah, I think it's more the in the positions where you can cut back. It's like minimizing your footprint is effectively what they're calling it. And if you take out that thing that could be removed, it's not necessarily important for the action figure itself. Really, when you think about it, like it's nice for us, and obviously we're vintage from that era where we had these beautiful packages or whatever. But I feel like if you take the plastic away from it, that is a lot of plastic. It's a lot. Obviously, if you take the figure away, then you don't have him. So that's. But like I'm saying, I think it's more that the footprint would be minimized quite dramatically. And the fact is, people throw that stuff away. They don't necessarily throw the figures away. Very rarely, anyway. And those figures stay in circulation. They get sold to other people. Yada yada yada. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's like the figure is definitely more like there's more use comes out of it. Whereas the package, a lot of people chuck it, and then that's going into the oceans and so on and so forth. So that's the problem, really, and that's what they're minimizing. Or that's what they're trying to minimize. But I get what you're saying. It does when you say it like that. It sounds ridiculous, but that's the basic reasoning for it.
There's a little bit of an irony though there, because combining it with that other comment, it is funny that the packages that are more likely to not have the windows, that are going plastic free, are the collector oriented ones that are going to be doing a lot of online, or will already know what it is. It's funny that the ones that are more likely to be thrown away are the ones that have the plastic still in them for the kids.
Like the kids, yeah.
And the ones that are more likely to be kept are the ones that are plastic free. So
yeah, that is a good point.
Backwards there, but
that is the point.
The marketing of it is just, it kind of has to be there. So
that is the point right there. I think I think eventually they're going to go full. They're going to go fully non-plastic anyway. But and let's face it, the kids stuff has been. I've seen loads of kids stuff in open window boxes with no plastic or no
That's true. The way that they're handling Transformers right now, I think is fine for some of the more kid-friendly Transformers. It just feels okay. I mean, but you also have the problem of heads popping off of toys whenever they're like that.
Yeah. This is for you, Pat. He-Man in his squatty potty position is about 4 inches high, so I don't see what the problem is. Thank you, Punk with Toys. We needed that. Don't worry, we're going to move on now. Sorry if I didn't get to all of your comments. I really appreciate this guy. Honestly, it's amazing. But I would like to move on, and I would like to kind of finish on a bit more of a high. So, are you up for that, Pat? A bit more of a high. Let's finish on, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
Yes, the classic G.I. Joe animated movie turned 35 years old on Wednesday, having first been released on the 20th of April 1987 on VHS in the United States of America. We had to wait another year for the Action Force the movie in the UK, but we will cover that anniversary next year. It's around this time every year that we hope to see some sort of celebration of the film in action figure form, and with Hasbro doing O-Ring and Classified, and Super 7 having a very animated focus in their lines, it only has to be a matter of time before we start seeing figures directly related to the greatest movie of all time. Okay, I'm biased.
Sorry for cutting you off there as well, mate.
Oh, that's okay.
I was like, right, I'm going to press this. And then you started saying, yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I'm like, yeah, cut you off. I'm not having you talking on this show. Yeah, G.I. Joe the movie celebrated its 35th year anniversary. 35 years, which is absolutely incredible. Like I said, we got it basically the year. Well, I say it wasn't a year later, but it was the next year that we got it on VHS in the United Kingdom. And it's one of those things. It's one of those movies that I have watched over and over and over again since I was a kid. I've never stopped watching it. And well, obviously, like I don't mean like back to back with like Google glasses on or something. I mean like I've watched it so many times. This movie I've seen more than any other movie, I think, that in history for me personally. What sort of feelings do you have about the film, Pat?
Well, every time I think of it, the one thing that I always think of is the kid that used to help you with the tracking of the VHS at the beginning. They actually had a little kid explaining to kids how to adjust their VCRs in order to make sure that the tracking was correct for G.I. Joe the movie. And then you say, enjoy the show at the end. And then it would go into the really sweet opening for G.I. Joe. But no, there was a time period where I was kind of out of it on G.I. Joe. I wasn't really paying attention. So this flew under the radar. I've said many times that the cartoon did not air where I was. I could not get it. That isn't true for Mass Device and Revenge of Cobra. I loved those. Those did air on Saturdays where I was. But once it went into the full seasons, G.I. Joe disappeared for me from the airwaves. So G.I. Joe the movie actually got released, and I did not hear about it for a long time. I wasn't buying them. As I've said before, 1989 Snake Eyes, whenever that figure happened, I thought, man, I need to really get back into G.I. Joe. And that was whenever I discovered G.I. Joe the movie. So you probably saw it before me.
This is the weird thing. Like, it's funny. Like, obviously we had the VHS tapes early on. I think Flint's Vacation and Worlds Without End was the first one I ever saw. That was the kind of double feature on Action Force VHS. When the movie came out, that was always in the movie Cobra, Ode to Cobra and Captors of Cobra as a double feature. And there was another one that was always in the video store that we had near us. And I would, if they were available, I'd have them every single weekend. Like every single weekend, and then mom would be like, "Let's go do you want to go get a video? Go grab a movie." Look around in this like shoebox of a room, which was tiny. You could only get like 2 people in at once. And even then it was like you're breathing down each other's necks. And every time I would seek out Captors of Cobra, Ode to Cobra, the movie, and I think Pyramids of Darkness was the other one. And I would like, I think it was Pyramids of Darkness was written on it, even though it's Pyramid of Darkness. And I would grab those 3 every single time, and they'd be out, and if they were available. I was pretty much the only person ever signed those out. Not many people were getting those VHS tapes, but I absolutely fell in love with all of them. And most of the other ones I bought, I managed to find in like stores and stuff, and they were just incredible. But the first time I saw this was on VHS. It was the Action Force movie. It was dubbed, and then it appeared on. We had this thing called Sky Movies. Sky TV was like American cable, but it was satellite, and it was pretty much the only option available for most people. It started off with like a decent amount of channels, and then grew and grew into this ridiculous thing where it was like, hundreds and hundreds of channels that you hardly watch any of. They had this Sky Movies section, and on one of the Sky Movies channels, it would randomly in the middle of the day, G.I. Joe the movie would be on. and it would be G.I. Joe the movie. It wouldn't be Action Force. It would be G.I. Joe. So like you had this massive confusion. And I think it was like, that was definitely more into the 90s that was happening, where like G.I. Joe had kind of become the kind of, it was G.I. Joe, the Action Force, and so on and so forth, and eventually just G.I. Joe in the UK. But I remember they had this one version of the dub, of the edit, that was half Action Force dubbed and half American G.I. Joe dubbed. And it was usually split around the point where Duke got killed, aka Comid. So when he goes into the coma, when he gets the snake and they cry and everything, then it would switch, like the dub would change. And it was so weird, but that was something I remember like vividly. And also at the end, during the Action Force credits, on the Action Force one, when the credits are rolling, it would say G.I. Joe, the movie registered trademark, like, you know, at one point on the credits. So you're just like, this is so weird. So there's a lot of confusion, but no, it's one of those things that I've just absolutely adored from being a kid. It's just one of the most fun things, and like it's something I wanted for so long as well. And I got it quite early on in my life, so I was really happy.
So there were no commercial breaks in it though, or was it like after it comes back from commercial, then suddenly it's G.I. Joe? It was just flipped right there.
All edited together perfectly. Yeah, I said
yeah,
perfectly.
That is crazy. Because I was just, when you started talking about it, I was assuming that there was, you know, a different rights issue between Action Force and G.I. Joe and the recording of it, and so maybe Sky TV was able to get G.I. Joe, but yeah, that's weird if half of it was Action Force and then half of it was G.I. Joe.
That was probably just
nobody be watching that far in, or maybe the adults who were in charge of making sure that it was right.
It was an error.
That's good enough.
It was an error. It wasn't the only. There were a number of errors in the VHS dubbing scenario, like department.
Yeah.
One, they put the wrong episode on one collection, VHS collection. So it was supposed to be Skeletons in the Closet, and it was The Invaders instead. And the other one, with the classic one, which I know was a known error across the board, was Cold Slither was released as a separate, I think as a double episode with another episode. But then it was also on a collection a few years later. And in that collection, it has both the American dub and the UK dub at the same time running on, like, I think one is in the left speaker, one is in the right speaker as well. So it's like this really weird pan. It's so weird. It's so weird. Anyway.
Yeah, I think you played that at AR, and like you had explained it to me, and I was like, huh? And I was just trying to sort that out in my head. And you said it perfectly, but my brain couldn't allow myself to try to make sense of hearing two differing audio tracks at the same time is literally what it is. It's nuts.
Well, the best thing with Cold Slither is there's the whole song at the end as well.
Right.
Like the Average Joe band, which is the Action Force band. So you get Clutch, Breaker come out to introduce them. And Breaker goes, it's the Average Joe band. But he says the Action Force band as well. So you hear both at the same time. And then you hear the different lyrics, international heroes instead of a real American hero. You know, it's honestly, it's bonkers. It's bonkers.
Yeah, that just seems strange, and I wonder if they ever noticed that they made that mistake.
Oh, 100%. I know other people have said that they've had the same issue with that particular VHS, so it was definitely on more than one. And I think when it was on more than one, then it has to be maybe a known issue. In fact, I think someone said they were going to check. I think it was Matt Paul. Shout out to Matt Paul. He said he was going to give his version a check to see if that was the case with him. And I don't think he has. I don't think he got back to me about that. Okay, sorry, I've missed loads of comments, by the way, guys. Sorry. You've got a big shout there, Couch Boy, about the G.I. Joe movie. That is a big issue there with Don Johnson as Falcon. No, that would not fly today at all. What else we got? The Cobra song is the best part of the movie. The Cobra, the beginning? The beginning,
yeah. The Cobra portion of the theme song. Yeah, the opening to it is such a solid opening. I really enjoy it.
It's one of the best. I mean, that I always joke about preferring the Action Force theme to the G.I. Joe one. because it's more like, well, for the actual TV show is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But when it comes to the movie hands down has the greatest theme ever. I feel like the G.I. Joe theme, and I know I've caught like absolute pelters for this in the past. People like, you know, wanting to murder me in the street. But I always thought that the G.I. Joe TV theme to the series was a little bit boring and a little bit slow. Like, I feel like it needs to be that kind of like, you know, there's more urgency to the Action Force theme. And that's, you know, that's just my opinion.
Sure, I see what you're saying there.
It's the Casio keyboard.
But it's interesting. It's interesting that even with the added urgency, the G.I. Joe one's still better.
Lies. Anyway, I know people are going to hate me for saying it, but you know, that is what it is for me.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
No, it's cool. We're just getting some quotes now. We're getting quotes from Matt, Neil. It's great. I love this. The BET turn on cross country's havoc, and this is a good one as well. Can you do that one for me, Pat?
No, I'm not going to do the.
Okay,
no.
Good. Do it in the way that Serpentor does it when he's in that flying squid, and they're attacking the base.
No, I feel too silly.
Good.
You put me on the spot. No thanks.
I wish I had the clip, honestly, but then again, we wouldn't get anything for this video. Another good one from Viper Scout. Blunderers, fools. Yeah, that's a good one. I love that. Right. Okay. Well, you know, what do you guys think? Do you love the movie as much as I do? Or do you hate it as much as Pat? I'm just kidding, Pat. I know you don't hate the movie.
You know, I was going to add to what I said earlier and say that I will also blame, listening to your story, also blame the video stores in my area, because I would look through all the animated stuff looking for things that would appeal to me. They didn't have G.I. Joe the movie, so it didn't air, and the video stores didn't have it. The way that I saw it the first time was I actually was in a JCPenney, and they had it there in a bin. Like, I was looking through the bins, knowing that it existed at that point. I had been like on the hunt for G.I. Joe. And so I was looking like anywhere that there was like a random thing of VHS, I would look for it. And finally I found it at JCPenney in like a bin of kids' videos.
I bet that was the best day ever though, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was $5. I got it home and it was excited. It was good.
Man, I've rinsed my VHS tapes. I had to get them like cleaned and fixed and all sorts in order to transpose them onto DVDs. Because I would just be like constant rotation. The things would be knackered by the time I got to, you know, any of that stuff. Outback Stew. I remember watching this movie when it first aired. Even at 12 years old, the ending of CC still freaked me out. Still to this day at 47, I still cringe when watching that scene. It was sad, wasn't it? That he turns into a snake. Yeah, that was rough. But don't worry, he comes back in the Deke series, so that's all good. Spoiler alert.
Me, that was like right one after the other. It's like, oh, and now he's back. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like the return of Optimus Prime. Oh my God. Yeah, another good shout there, Viper Scout. Next time, Chuckles, use the rocket launcher. So that's my beachhead impression. I know it's not very good, but whatever. Okay. Oh, Couchboy loves the movie. Oh, this had to be said. Of course, I was once a man. Matt O'Brien. This is Adam. I think Adam Rich's favorite quote. Law and Order's the thing. He finds the bombs and I drive the car. We tried it the other way, but it didn't work. Yeah, he's always saying that. Okay, yeah. Well, anyway, brilliant movie. Really happy it got to 35 years. Just makes me feel way, way older than I want to feel. But yeah, really, really happy that it's got to 35. What I would say though, Pat, and this is what we'll finish on this particular segment, we need to see some sort of action figure celebration here, don't we? We need it in O-Ring somehow. I feel like we need it in like Yojo June, maybe some sort of Super 7 big thing. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I think that's a lot, that G.I. Joe has a lot of anniversaries to keep track of, so this one may have just gotten forgotten. 35 isn't one of the big ones. Maybe, sure. I mean, if there's still time to give us something, yeah, that would be really cool to have. Even this on the package of something with a Falcon in it would be neat. The cover of it. Yeah, Chris, how dare you? That's a good point. The theme song to G.I. Joe is a classic. Come on.
I'm not saying it's not a classic. I'm saying I just preferred the UK one. It just like, you know, it's just anyway. Let's move on because I don't want to upset everybody. But I will say, and I will clarify, the G.I. Joe the movie intro is outstanding, and it is the best version of the theme song ever done. Trust. Yeah. Anyway, right. Okay. I personally, I really think we should see something, especially Super 7. It's animated. Get stuck in Super 7. We need to see these figures. We need to see, I'm talking like deep cut movie representation. Okay. I'm talking Cobra La, like, you know, Citizens. Cobra Commander is a scientist with his, you know, Cobra Commander as a kind of turning into a snake with the ripped like clothing and everything and the ripped body. I'm talking Serpentor, Globulus, Pythona, Nemesis Enforcer, Royal Guard, all that stuff. Winter jackets. I know we've seen a bazooka, but that was from Pyramid of Darkness. Don't think I didn't notice that, Super 7. I noticed that. Anyway, Matt O'Brien thinks it's lies and unsubstantiated fantasy, and you'd be wrong.
I think that's a good reply to your comment on the theme song.
I know it was
unsubstantiated fantasy.
I know, but he's lying. Frequent displays of cowardice. See, I can do these quotes, Pat. You just let him decide down. Vibe Scout. He bought his VHS for $9.95 at KB Toys. That's too much. Pat got it for $5.
Yeah, I got it for $5.
Right. Okay. That's it then for the G.I. Joe the movie chat. 35 years. Looks like we're going to have to wait another 5 years before we get any action figures out of that, Pat. Right. Before we get into shout outs and before I cut Pat off again with the next video, we'll have a quick word from our sponsors and then we'll get into that. What say you, Pat? I'm not pressing anything yet.
Yeah, let's move on to the next video.
Hey there guys, just wanted to let you know about an app that I've been helping to develop for a few years now called Hoarder. But what is Hoarder, I hear you scream? Well, a number of years ago I discussed a project with a good friend of mine and now co-owner/developer about an app that could help collectors of all shapes and sizes. I'm talking about the shapes and sizes of the collections really, but also people. The app would be a place where you could share your new items, build collections and sub-collections, or just browse the feed to see cool things. Well, we made it. We tested it for a number of years and now it's out there for you to enjoy on iOS or Android devices. You can upload a single item at a time at your own pace and slowly build your collections. You can post status updates that could be related to your collections, like getting a delivery or posting a scene in which you can tag items in that image if you've uploaded them in the past. You can add tags to your items in order to easily search for and find them, and of course to add them into your respective collections. You can like posts, comment on them, or start a conversation with a fellow collector, directly message users you follow, and even add items you see on your feed to your want list. If you prefer to use your computer or laptop, have no fear, you can use the website browser version and even utilize the awesome inventory option, allowing any user to change certain details, add notes, upload bulk items from spreadsheet files, and download a CSV of your entire itemized collection. We made this app for collectors and we hope that you enjoy using it as much as we enjoyed creating it. Now get to hoarding.
Shout outs. I'm actually going to go quickly first. I haven't got an image for this. I forgot to add it because in the rush of doing all of this stuff, I forget things. And I'm quickly going to shout out Pat Stewart, Notpicard.
Oh.
For sending not just a little Bobcat toy. I should be on full screen, but that's not going to happen because it's too many things, too many moving parts, unfortunately, guys. This gorgeous little Bobcat with his little head that goes up and down. Obviously, like big Spearhead and Max fans, the full force. And it's not just, I mean, he didn't just send me a Bobcat. There's more to it. And Pat, obviously, I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to the people right now. But it is a National Park Foundation toy. These are really cute, by the way, Pat. And I'll get to the point of what you sent, generally. But yeah, this was like a little bonus item in there, and it's really cute. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Look at him. I like the fact, basically, what the important thing was this. Now, this is a drive containing, was it 6 seasons of American Gladiators?
You can't find it anywhere else. I had to do it.
Thank you, Pat.
I will gladly buy it if they put it out, but they've got to put it out. That's
well, this was the thing. We've been on this huge American Gladiators tip for a while. We've been watching it on the channel that was just American Gladiators for ages, and then it just stopped happening because I think they're doing another series, aren't they, very soon? And because of that, they basically just shut down that.
I think that they tweeted that it will be back on Pluto, but it's not.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I've checked a number of times and still nothing. But anyway, so that was what was important about that particular delivery, and also some micro machines which I've actually put back over on the display. But I just remembered and thought, no, I've got to thank Pat. So thank you for Pat for those, mate. Really appreciate it. Now you can go now and actually do the proper shout outs that we've planned. Okay.
I should mention that that's from a Kinder Egg, is where that Bobcat is from. It's really kind of cool. I ended up getting one randomly, and then I thought, well, I'll buy another one to see if there's another animal in here. And I kept on doing that, and the next 4 that I got were the same one, even though there's 16 in the series. So I'm like, well, I'm going to share these. It's not a bad thing because it's, somewhat G.I. Joe scaled. But my shout outs for the week, first, who do we have here? What's the next picture?
Oh, sorry. You just usually shout out.
G.I. Joe 40th anniversary special. I was just saying that I didn't know where I was going to get this. And I have to shout out a local friend gifted me one. So I was blown away, super excited to have walked into finding this. Was amazing. I actually didn't realize that the back of the book actually reprints issue number 21. I didn't realize that, it's kind of a double thick issue. So you're getting, the new pages as well as all the original, as well as an interview in there. So it's a really good book, and it was nice to be able to compare. They did the color updates, like the hole above Scarlet that seals up is correctly colored. So it's not precisely the same as what it originally was. It's the corrected version.
You wanted the pre.
I'm not saying I wanted that. I just liked being able to compare the art, without having to flip through to another book.
You wanted it Jabba the Hutt as the human, is what you wanted, right? Yeah, you wanted human Jabba the Hutt. You wanted pre-CGI editions. Special editions. Yeah, I know what you're saying. No, that would be
quite like the pre-CGI special editions. That is, I do like to watch those.
I think it would be cool to reprint, or not reprint, but put like the original in there, just so you could see warts and all what it looked like originally. Yeah, but I guess the easier thing to do is to just
somehow bind them together.
just buy tons of them for like $3 million each on from what's his name, old Pokemon cards.
Right.
I forget his name now. Logan Paul.
That's okay. We don't need to remember his name.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So cool, man. Awesome. Really, and obviously Adam Richards had a big part in this. Good, co-host of the show. So yeah, shout out to Adam for his amazing work on that one page, which it kind of stands out to me as being, because it's so unique for what he did there, and such a great idea to kind of turn the chess pieces into O-ring figures. I thought that was genius.
Yeah, that's getting a lot of good reactions online. I'm actually seeing people. I saw a post of somebody who just picked up the book and said, "Hey, this is amazing. I really enjoyed this one page," and they picked out Adam's page, so it was cool.
Awesome. What about your next shout out then, Pat?
As always, shout out to Philip. Yeah,
I like to time it. I like to time it with how you say it as well. So just like, as soon as I'm about to say Philip, bang. There you go. There he is.
There it is. Okay, shout out to Philip as always. What do you have this week?
What do I have this week? Well, first up, always to the family, my lovely family from both sides of the pond, and my lovely wife Kate and Phoebes, who are chilling in quiet in the background because, you know, we live together. And so, yeah, big shout out to them. Massive love to everybody. To Brian Sauer for the amazing, as always, for the amazing graphics. I'm really, really enjoying these overlays at the moment. And he also did our wonderful overlays for the Newsburst Live, which I used for the first time on the last episode, which look great. So thank you for all of your hard work, Brian. We really appreciate it on the show. Next up, the snapback hat. Finally got it. Finally got it. I actually explained this on the Newsburst Live as well, but I'm going to do it here quickly. Bought it the first time, accidentally ripped it by putting it in a bag with a metal clasp inside it. I know. Didn't realize as I was pulling it out of the bag, it caught and just went a little tear in the top. So I was like, bugger. Bought another one and I'm wearing it today. And like you say, you can kind of do that when they're like $7, $8 hats. You know, it's like, that's okay. But yeah, I'm probably going to be using the other one for some sort of like hardcore recreational activities. And then this one will be the sexy one that I pull out for the episodes. But it's really nice hat. So thank you, Target. And of course, this beautiful piece of artwork popped up on the Skeletron. I know. So obviously, the 4-inch Grindstone Toys, a Skeletron Roboskull Wolf Pilot is getting this gorgeous artwork by Doug Hart, which is just fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, that does look amazing. And they have a Kickstarter coming up soon too, don't they? Specific for Grindstone.
They do, and we'll be talking to the Grindstone Toys guys on the day of their reveal, which I can't tell you when it will be. They might have even revealed that, but we'll be talking with them on, you know, close to the time, let's say. But yeah, wicked, beautiful artwork. But not just that, they did the Skeletron head as well, and well, Doug did. Isn't that amazing? Love it.
Yeah, that does look amazing. And Doug Hart, who worked on, you know, G.I. Joe package art as well. So it just has that familiar feel to it. This is nice.
Yeah. So Skeletron backer kit is still available for the next 7 days. So you have until the 30th of this month. Link in the description for the backer kit. It's like, it acts like a pre-order store as well. So you can go in there and you can order some stuff as well. So go and do that while you still have time. Look, all the cool stuff that figure comes with. You've got alternate head. You've got the other, I mean, the helmet goes over both, which is brilliant. Removable helmet goes over both heads. You've got the kind of laser rifle, which is fun. You've got the kind of laser pistol. You've got the jetpack. You've got that kind of like double-bladed like handle weapon, and then you've got the kind of, let's call it like a saber, like the sword, the electric sword, which is just incredible. And yeah, I'm loving this figure, and you know, and it's one part of many pieces in that incredible.
Yeah, I've said it before, but the Roboskull stuff is stuff that whenever it comes in hand, there are going to be people going, "What is that? This is amazing. Where did you get that?" And it'll be like, "How did you not hear about this?" So if you're if you're a little unsure, at least look into it, because there's still a little bit of time to pick up some of this stuff, and it's going to be great whenever it comes in. It's going to look great.
Definitely. I've been missing a lot of comments. Apologies, guys. Let's just do a few while we're here. YouTube has the movie. See it, it's classic, but forgive Falcon Weinstein as it was the 80s. So that's a good shout. Robert Online says, we need a 4K release. Transformers got a 2025, a Blu-ray, and a 4K. Where's a 4K of Joe? Probably for the 40th anniversary, Robert, I'd imagine. The only thing that could have made the movie better is having Outback in it, says Outback Stew. Outback's agenda. I think Outback actually runs Outback Stew's account. Outback is a real human being, and he's always pushing Outback, which is fine because, like I said in the past, he's amazing. Couchboy wants Super 7 movie figs with movie logo packaging as well. That is a great shout. I feel like it's going to happen. I feel like it will happen. Thank you, Steve, for the nice comment. Great show once again. Cheers, Chris/Pat. And then he's put 2 punchy fists, and I'm guessing that's both of our heads in the middle, just getting absolutely beaten up and attacked. So thank you, Steve.
Fist bump.
Yeah, we'll say fist bump, but I think our heads are in the middle of it. Transformers got a special feature limited run in the theaters during its anniversary. Dude, I watched it twice. It's actually been in theaters twice now, and I've seen it both times. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, G.I. Joe needs a theatrical release. Like that would be in a lot of ways a bigger event than Transformers because it hasn't been available everywhere. I really feel that would be amazing. That'd be a big event. That's what we need to do for the 40th G.I. Joe. Put it in theaters. Let's go watch it there.
Absolutely. Oh, this is a good shout from Ritz. Hasbro need to make the O-Ring 2-pack of Pythona and Big Lob. That would be pretty dope. Actually, that would be really cool. Actually, I think I'd prefer more like Big Lob and maybe another one that didn't make it out, like maybe Jinx Unmasked is an O-Ring.
Yeah.
Jinx and Big Lob would be a good, or maybe Jinx and Pythona for the fight.
Yeah, I would like actually some more of the Citizens of Cobra Law kind of things, like some of the other, like those honor guard people. I don't even know what it's called. I guess I could look it up to see what that animation model was. But there was that other Cobra Law person that was very prominent that just feels like that needs to be a figure. So maybe Pythona and that one, and Big Lob and Jinx, something like that, or Chuckles in the white shirt. Something
Chuckles,
like that.
Hench Chuckles in a white shirt. Comes with a missile as well. Comes with just one rant. Oh, that would be so good. Oh, come on. I should be working for Hasbro. These ideas are great. Eduardo wasn't a fan. He said, I didn't like how Sergeant Slaughter was depicted as more super than gung-ho and Roadblock. That was a load of crap to me. Lol. That's not a bit of tongue-in-cheek there, I think, Eduardo, but no, that's totally fine. We all have our different opinions on these, and I wasn't going to miss. I had a feeling people were thinking he's not going to post, he's not going to put up any of the negative comments. No, I will. If you have those feelings, guys, you have those feelings. It's totally cool. Oh, thank you, Couch Boy. I love catching these. G.I. Joe is so much a part of my identity. I feel like it's my only part. I think it's my only identity now. G.I. Joe. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that I need to read a file card just to know more about myself.
And get rid of all the plastic around your face, for goodness sake. Yeah, amazing. Outback says, Chris, do you think Snowjob and Outback are the same person? No, I don't, because they're not.
You know what? Whenever he popped up before, it occurred to me there's definitely like a weird two halves to 1987, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's weird how the toy line is like there's the movie 1987. Then there's the Outback 1987.
Yeah. There's a lot of it's really interesting characters thrown in there, but like not in like a bad way, but like visually there's like lots of they tried different things, didn't they? Like they tried things that weren't necessarily like, a survivalist just wearing a t-shirt, for example. Like it practically, the guy's going to freeze to death.
In the movie, we're going to write out Cobra Commander and turn him into a snake. In the toy line, we're going to make a new figure.
And super realistic. Yeah, totally. There was a bit of a disparity going on, wasn't there, in media compared to what's going on. Action Figure Expert says, hello, Mr. Chris. And Pat, you're nothing in this, so get out. Just go off screen for a second. I'm just kidding. I'm good, thank you, Action Figure Expert. Speaking of Georgia the movie, I'm guessing that's G.I. Joe the movie. VHS, the copy I got in the mail was hot pink. It was a mail-away version, I think you're saying there. Yeah, the hot pink one is really sexy. I had a hot pink Thundercats VHS tape. I think it was Slaves of Castle Plundar or one of those.
I wonder where you got that in the mail from. There's a lot of different VHS mail-aways back in the 80s, for sure.
I'm so glad you got a hot pink one, though. That's dope. I kind of want that now. I don't have that. I want that. I want an Action Force version that's hot pink. They never did it. What we got going on? Renegade Biker. Chris, what do you think about either 3-0? Again, Pat, can you just get off the screen? What do you think about either 3-0 or Super 7 making the I Was Once a Man Cobra Commander, Serpentor, Jinx, Ropig, Wetsuit, and Torpedo? I think 3-0 probably won't go that deep. But I definitely think Super 7 are going to do all of those 100%. 100%.
Yeah, with the lower articulation figures, an accessory with Roadblock that is just Cobra Commander kind of coiled around him would be I think an instant buy for most people. Just if they could even just take that Cobra Commander off and put it on the original O-ring roadblock, like that's a definite sale. Like make that happen.
Yeah, make it happen, for goodness sake. Matt O'Brien, he likes to do his shout outs now, wants to shout out Pat and Chris for being awesome advocates of this Joe brand and for all the fans who could make it today.
Oh,
Your payment is in the post, Matthew. Thank you very much. Cool. Adam Drake was really into the comic, the 40th anniversary one. I was chuffed to bits that it had a reprint. Absolutely, man. Yeah. Got 2 hats, Couch. I did. I've got 2 hats. Ben Conway, Doug Hart is a wonderful man. And also 1 week left. That's coming from the mouth of the man from Skeletron himself. Ryan Sweeney says, the real question is, would a special edition Joe movie in theatre make more money than Snake Eyes the movie? Probably, actually. I think it would. But then, I kind of thought they missed a trick not having a special feature of the Action Force, or the G.I. Joe, the Action Force movie would be even better. But the G.I. Joe movie before the Snake Eyes one. I think that would have been really cool. I think that would have got people in, although, it was during the pandemic as well, which didn't help. But I still think, it probably would do more. Probably do more numbers. I would love to go and see that in the cinema. We need to get that.
It's a shame that we never managed even to do it as a special part of JoeCon. Bring back JoeCon for the 40th anniversary, and then we'll go see the movie.
Robert Online hated the basketball guy. I'm telling you mean Big Lob. I hated
why would you hate him? The figure of the basketball guy is what I hated.
Yeah. Same. Couch Boy. First quick kick. He's in snow, barefoot, shirtless, shooting a commercial. That was in Pyramid of Darkness, wasn't it? Yeah. And I think they rectified that a bit. Or they retconned quick kick in the winter for the movie by putting a jacket on him and giving him shoes. So, and amazing. Punk with Toys does not like Cobra La and he doesn't want to see them again. Just awful. Well, I'm sorry, Punk with Toys. I do not agree with you, but all your opinions are valid ones, as I've said in the past, and I'm not going to just skirt over it. There you go, Clark. That reminds you to finish your Robo Skull backer kit. How about an Outback with a pink shirt? I'd be all over that as well. Outback, any Outback, any deco they want to do, I'll take an Outback in it. Couch Boy's really happy. He says, Pat, I can't believe I caught your ep finally. You guys are so awesome. There you go, mate. Some love for you this time.
Thank you.
And Ritz says, Pat, great CC snake figure concept. I'm in. I think you're right, honestly. I think Roadblock with the snake wrapped around him would be absolutely superb. Definitely.
Yeah, it just feels like one that Super 7 needs to get done. That'd be a good one.
Robert Online says, who's your favorite C-lister? Well, for me, it's Lightfoot. I don't know if you could call him a C-lister. He's probably more. He's less than that because he's only had one. He's had a repaint, so he's more than the lowest of the low. What would you say, Pat?
Lightfoot. He's definitely kind of somewhere at the tail end of the G.I. Joe list of characters. I mean, how dare you? Not in terms of quality, though.
No,
quality figures. He's a really good one.
2 figures and one and only maybe 3 appearances in the comic, and one of those is recent. Maybe 4 if you count some really background use of him. So not a lot to really go on, is there? What's your favorite C-lister?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't even know who I would consider a C-lister. No, I probably will have a lot of people not liking this because he's not even a C-lister. He's like a Q-list, or I don't even know where he is.
Roadblock.
No, I was actually going to say Sergeant Savage.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that there's a long history of me with Sergeant Savage because I didn't, jump right into that right away, but I had the younger brother. He bought a figure. I thought it was a pretty cool figure, but I wasn't just going to go right into those. Then as time moved on, I warmed up to it. I watched the show, and then I ended up buying a ton of the pre-production stuff. So I have a ton of Sergeant Savage stuff.
Yeah.
And, have really visited that. So he's a favorite of mine.
We might get into this on maybe a monthly at some point, where we'll talk about like the levels and who fits in where, because that's an interesting conversation to have. Robert Online says he loves Footloose. I wouldn't say C-list. Well, actually, that's a good shout. Actually, he could be C-list, because
Footloose feels like C-list to me.
If you're gonna, I mean, would you say Flint and Jay, would they be A-listers or would they be B-listers? Hard to say, isn't it?
I would put Flint and Jay. Well, it depends on how big you're going to have those lists be. They're either A or B.
Yeah.
But I would think that any of the characters that were portrayed in the Sunbow cartoon, they're pretty high on the list, because there's tons of G.I. Joe that came after them that didn't have nearly as much exposure.
Footloose is a weird one, where he was really popular in the cartoon and early on, and then he's only had like a couple of figures. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's one that could have had tons of figures based on his popularity in the cartoon and the use in the cartoon originally.
I think that what I'm getting here is that you're kind of including, and maybe this would be something that could actually be mathematically figured out, is number of comic book appearances, number of toy appearances, and somehow figure that out to see how much exposure each character has had.
I think that would be that'd be the only way to do it, really. I think.
Yeah, so it wasn't quantifiable.
Yeah. Thanks for your comment, Robert. Anyway, really appreciate that. And yeah, Footloose is fantastic. I love that character. Sorry, guys, we're gonna have to call it. We're gonna have to call it there for reading out comments. I can see a few people loving on Lightfoot though. Thank you. I appreciate the pandering. Next up, obviously, reminder to go and pledge for Dan Kay's Creating G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Volume 8. Just posted this the other day. He's on the Project We Love for Kickstarter as well, which is really cool. And also, there's a 2-up of Spearhead, and here's a Bobcat.
Yeah, you can kind of jump into his books at any point. I know that this is volume 8, and so people may be like, well, I missed volumes 1 through 7. They're not taking place in exact order. He's featuring various characters to make sure that you can just kind of jump in.
Yeah, and they're really, really good and awesome. So yeah, check it out, pledge, get that funded.
And some of the older ones are also available, I think, in the Kickstarter. So if you check that out, you can get the older books.
Absolutely. Also, Operation Recall, another kind of I suppose, jogging the memory for everyone, and a shout out to Carson at 3D Joes as well. We'll be covering this in more detail, obviously, going forward. But yeah, just really excited for what that is all about as well. Hope you've been designing your figures, guys, in the background. And of course, Paddy and Brian, shout out to the good folks behind Total Action Force International Heroes Volume 2, or Volume 2 International Heroes. Posted some gorgeous pics again of the hydrofoil in action, as well as the Stinger and the Battle Bunker. And also this little page to give you an example of what to expect with the toy layouts and the explanations for those vehicles and play sets and all that kind of stuff. So there's just an example at the moment. There'll be a lot of changes going on still. But again, beautiful stuff in these books. Go pledge. It's very close. We're at currently, and I do have it open, at close to 30,000 of a 37,753 pledge. So it's getting closer, very close, guys. Let's try and get that funded, please, as quickly as possible, because I need this book in my life. Sure. Gorgeous shots there, aren't they, Pat? Absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I really appreciate having books, that are from the perspective of a collector from, of Action Force. It's just one of the best aspects of G.I. Joe. The Action Man and Action Force contributed so much to the brand that I like hearing from the perspective of those collectors, what you had, what you love, and it's always fun. Even
Ben Conway of Skeletron says it's a gorgeous book, and if that's the case, it's good. And also, so that's Paddy and Brian. What else we got going on? That's it for shout outs. We made it, Pat. We made it to the end. It's funny, like I knew, but then I had that little bit of doubt creep in that, is there another one that I added? No, I didn't. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another fantastic episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoes Reborn.com. Pat, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Thanks for having me again.
Are you going to be late for work now?
Yes.
Fantastic. Right, guys, you know what to do at the end of this one. And by the way, Pat, you don't have to hang around this time. Just go, mate, as soon as we're done. That's for me and Pat to, talk about. Anyway, thank you so much for all the comments, guys. Sorry we didn't get to all of them, but honestly, there's so many of them, it's impossible. We really appreciate all the support, all of you tuning in, all of you checking it out, and all of you and interacting. It's been so much fun. We will see you next week, and I'll probably see you in the week for obviously the massive Tuesday reaction. Hopefully Pat can be on that as well, but we'll have to work out availability. And then, we'll see what happens, what team members can join on Tuesday. So we'll see you then. I'll probably also see you in the week for more News Burst Lives. Have a great, great weekend. And as always, after 3, Pat, 1, 2, 3,
full force.
I hope you did it along.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.